Hey, welcome back, Blue and Gold Gridiron Show. Second part of this episode with Coach Davis. Really intrigued by some of the stuff he talked about in the last one. And I'm going to shut up here and we're going to turn it over to Coach and he's going to share some information with us. So thank you so much, Coach, and take it away.
All right. Well, I'll kind of just show you one of our base field concept that we have here. And I'll kind of just show you how it looks like here. Um, as you can see, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Divide.
So divide is now for those of you old school run and shoot guys, you know how divide didn't used to have all these conversions with it. It was kind of the four vertical concept, of course, you got out of trips, or double post concept. It was kind of the one more down the field thing, and it kind of just morphed into this as we went, as we were turning it into a four strong deal. So what defensive coordinators used to do back in the day, to the old OG run and shoot stuff, was they could tell a lot of times by your alignment where the read route was coming from. And then they do what we used to call back in the day wing combo, or just as fancy. That was before there was such a thing as pattern match stuff, or double team the read route. You'd have a on top and underneath bracket or double team of the read route, and they could shut you down that way, if they had an idea of where the read route was coming from. Well, all I did was get crazy with this concept, and as you see, let's give everybody read routes, because you need two defenders to stop a read route. Well, if you got four guys running, it would take eight just to stop those guys. So, and then there'd still be this check down run around all by himself. So we kind of went with the powder match stuff. Four strong kind of really became where we started to live. Four strong, meaning we get four guys out to the side, okay, to the field side of the concept. So this is kind of what it looks like. And that looks like a lot of stuff. It looks crazy, but you'll actually see how kind of simple it is here. So I'll kind of break this down a little bit for you, so you can kind of see here. Trying to find all my stuff. Apologize.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, this is similar to what I've seen when I've seen run and shoot concepts, and it does. Full on for me when looking at it, I go, wow, that seems like a lot. So, but
Yeah,
obviously you've been able to get the kids to do it real seamlessly.
because like I said, it kind of just. Can you see this?
Right now I see you. I don't see
Oh,
the other
okay.
part just yet.
Let me go. Let me go back to it here. I'm trying to find you. uh, you're under all these screens. There you are. All right. So let me find share here. There we go. All right.
All right, I see it.
Now you can see it. All right. Um, so we'll kind of just go through here our middle field close. We'll go through our, oops, didn't mean to do that. All right. We'll kind of go through our read routes here. First one, and I'll just kind of draw this for you here. Make this easy. We're going to first start with our inside slot, our first read route here. And he's going to by our number 3 slot right here. Okay. So first thing we always want to teach an alignment, release, and then the conversion. Okay. So alignment for him, he's going to be aligned with the goal post. Okay. His release, if it's zone, we are going to run through the under coverage as fast as we can. Fast through the under coverage. Under coverage are all these guys right here. This is the under coverage, right? Any second level defender, okay, is the under coverage. So that's one thing that we want to teach our guys, because we want to speak the same language. All right, we want to run fast through the under coverage, and then he is going to read. He has his landmark as he comes through. go post on the release, but the weak hash is going to be his landmark that he converts to. So he's going to read off this weak safety. If it's middle field close, it'll be that middle field close safety. And he'll have a conversion based on which way this guy goes. If weak safety goes away, he's going to take a very high angle to that weak side hash. High angle on top, steep angle on top to the weak side hash. All right. If he stays in the middle, he's going to take not quite as high, but he's still going to take a steep angle, but not as high as the first angle. All right. Again, to the weak side hash. And then if he works towards them, then he'll go ahead and snap that off and he'll look for a hole back down to the quarterback. Okay. If that guy stays in his hip pocket, he'll just stay on the move. Okay. And kind of draw him out of there, because you could probably guess if he takes off with him, there's nobody up in this next hash mark on this next landmark here. So seam reader, now the number 2 slot, he's doing the same thing. His landmark is going to be the field side hash. Same thing. I'm going to work fast through the under coverage, and I'm going to read this guy here. Again, if he works away from me, I'm going to go up the hash for a touch. I want to stay on the inside part of the hash mark, because we're always teaching our guys about where his problem's going to come from. Where's my problem going to come from? If that safety works away from me, my problem's going to come from the corner, right? Mid-pointing and squeezing that seam. So I want to stay on the inside part of that, taking that up for a touch. If the weak safety stays in the middle or rotates to me, I'm going to go ahead and sit it down and find a hole back to the quarterback again. Okay. So those are your 2 read routes in the slot. If it's one high, these 2 outside guys are running what we call streak reads, working from the top of the numbers, getting to the bottom, and then just reading. If I ever and you could do it based on how fast they are. If you got fast guys, we give them tell them about 15 yards. If they are slower guys, you can give them 7 steps. So usually times out pretty well. You can teach it by steps or by yardage, however you want, depending on the skill of your guys. But again, if any time in that period, whether my 15 yards or my 7 steps, if I get even with him, I'm leaving, right? That's old run and shoot maxim that we have, right? Rule. If I'm even, I'm leaving at any time. If not, if he turns and gets on top, gets deep, I'm going to go ahead and sit it down and find a hole back to the quarterback. The longer it takes, the more I'm going to start drifting to the sideline. So I'm going to come, it's actually, I kind of drew it out. It's more like straight down my stem and then start working back to the sideline. And he's doing the same thing over here. He's doing that same thing. All right. So quarterback on his drop, he is 1 big step, eyes through the mic, reading here on it. And he has to have a decision made by his first step, whether he's going to throw that or not. And it's got to be a hell yes. He's looking for space. He's not really reading guys. He's reading space. All right. So he has to see that space right through on his first step. It's got to be a hell yes. All right. That he wants to throw it. If not, by his second, as he crosses over to 2, his eyes now get to this area of the field, and he's doing the same thing there based off the movement of usually that under coverage player. Okay. If not, if we're getting a double team there, then he can just go ahead and throw the check down out there. Okay. Now, if he's got time, we can go ahead and get out here to 3. If not, it's just kind of 1, 2, 3 back down here. That's kind of the sequence of it. And we could always change it outside in, depending on alignments of the defense. I won't get into that because I can't give defensive coordinators every single thing. Because just like my buddy John, he thought I was taking notes. I know he's over there taking notes. I don't want him or Aaron. I don't want Aaron sitting there taking notes either. So, but that's how simple it is, for the quarterback. And so now our 2 high rules.
Coach,
Same.
real quick, you said he
Yep.
was reading on that number 3 there. He's reading the mic through on his
Yep.
first step. He gets a hell yes. I'm going to number 3
Yep.
right now. And if not, he's progressing to that undercoverage player. I just want to make sure I'm understanding everything
Yep.
as you're going through it.
Yep. Okay. Because the mic's going to tell us that's the guy that's going to give us all the numbers data that we need.
Gotcha.
If he stays in the box area, he's not expanding to the seam. So now we know we got numbers out there. If he does expand out, if he pushes, we know we're probably good in the box with our numbers. Okay. So and then of course, if he blitzes or swing deep before, it just creates more space for us right in there. So we'll always replace him if he blitzes as well, if he blitzes in zone, or and then we'll blitz convert if it's man. We'll throw hot if it's man. So if it's too high, same thing. I'm middle slot. I'm running through, and now I'm reading this cat here. If he goes cover 2, whoop, right up there. If he stays quarters or he poaches, then I'm going to go ahead and sit it down, find a hole back to the quarterback. Okay. And again, same thing here. Now here's our rule a little bit. Now, if it's too high here, if this seam is capped, now I could go ahead and stretch this off of the hash. Why? Don't have to worry. If the seam is capped, usually don't have to worry about mid-pointing corner. So I can stretch this cat off here and now see what he does. Goes outside cover 2. I'm going to stretch to his face, skinny him up for a touch. If he stays quarters, spins to the middle, I can sit up, go ahead and find a hole back to the quarterback. Doing the same thing out here. Same thing out here.
So quarterback wise, is he still starting his read at the mic or is he going immediately to the weak safety?
Nope. Starts there. He's just looking for space. One. And if our guy can run past him fast and climb him fast, and this is where we stress it. And this is where I don't care if people know, because most of the time this guy is going to be a slow run stopper. This guy is going to be one of our fastest guys, our quickest guys. So if you're going to put a different guy there for that game, that's fine. You're going to need speed if you're going to have him open up and trail him, try to slice him, cut him, whatever, short wall, whatever you want to call it, any technique. But if he's going to go and turn and run with the seam, this cross read here, then we go ahead and now we know he's not expanding out here. So now our eyes get right outside. So there's no disguise. You can disguise your coverage any way you want. In fact, if you do disguise it, it actually helps us. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud, but I don't care. And that's because usually if you try to disguise it, you're going to have to turn your body away from a receiver when you do that. So we know you won't be able to jump any of the routes, and we won't just throw it right to you. So, because if you move away we're reading your movement post snap, so it doesn't really matter. There's nothing you're going to do. There's no pre-snap alignment, post-snap alignment or movement, anything like that. That's gonna throw us off. So, like I said, I kind of like it if you disguise and spin it, because our quarterbacks aren't looking at that anyways. So you're not tricking him by doing it. Because he's watching these guys. He's looking for space under here. The receivers are taking care of you on top. So you can move, spin, disguise, invert, blah, 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 blah. You could do whatever you want to do. We don't care. Because we're going to convert it off of his movement. So the quarterback doesn't ever have to worry about it. He's not reading any of those defenders, which is usually what disguise coverage is for. You're trying to disrupt the quarterback's read, but you're not going to do that. So with us. So again, the beauty of it, because if you had, like we had a quarterback that was coming in, he wasn't very experienced, that would be something you'd want to do to him. You'd want to disguise your blitzes, disguise your coverages. That would really mess up a young quarterback's reads. That's what messes guys up when they come in the NFL, right? That's what messes them up. So you're not doing that to us. It doesn't mess with us. That's why this has been one of the most successful offenses even in the NFL. Okay. So, and it wasn't the Houston Oilers loss that ruined the offense, because guess what? The Houston Oilers, when they got beat by the Bills, you know what the Bills were running? The run and shoot. Look it up. The Bills were running it. Jim Kelly said he wouldn't come in the NFL because he was coming from the Houston Gamblers. He said he wouldn't come into the NFL unless they were running it. So they were running the run and shoot, even though Frank Reich was the guy running it, but it still doesn't matter. They were running a tight end, no huddle version of the run and shoot. So the run and shoot that day beat the run and shoot. So just so we make sure that's on the record for everybody. That didn't the Bills just beat up on that sorry offense? And nope, they they were running the same thing. That's how they beat it. So man free. So now we get into man coverage or man techniques. Okay, because we're always talking about zone alignments, man alignments, and then there's zone techniques and man techniques. Again, post snap. So this is what our guys are reading. Now we got man alignments. These guys are in the framework of our body. So our releases are going to change a little bit. All right. So now we're going to work. Now this guy, instead of a straight release, we're going to get inside. We're going to straighten him up at about 8 to 10, somewhere in there. I mean, he can push it a little more if he needs to. And then we're going to snap it across if it turns to man. That guy stays in his hip pocket. He's going to, out here, we're going to take that outside release again. This guy turns and runs, again, uses a man technique. If he turns his hips and runs with me and he turns his eyes to me, that's a man technique. You can have man techniques inside a zone. You get that in pattern match all the time. You get guys that might be in zone alignments, but if they turn and run and get their eyes to you, that's a man technique. Now we're going to take it and snap it across. All right, snap it across and stay on the move, looking for space. And again, when we're always talking about our downhill angles, we want to get downhill. One of the biggest mistakes kids make is, and especially because how they transition out of breaks. And we're working on this from day one in our ball drills right away. How do we transition in and out of breaks, right? So if we transition improperly, young kids are going to drift, right? We don't want that where they get undercut. Okay, we don't want that. So we want to make sure that we are transitioning with that inside knee, working downhill, being quarterback friendly, slightly downhill. We work on that. We get on lines and move across. And we want to be on the quarterback side of those lines as we're moving across the field in our drills and our warm-up drills. We're constantly talking about proper angles, being quarterback friendly, get between defenders and the ball. That's how you're going to get the ball more. Okay. So we're constantly doing that. No change here. Again, get on top. Same thing. If I'm even, I'm leaving. If not, if he turns and runs and caps us on top, we just go ahead and sit that down. All right. So 4 across blitz now. So again, like in any run and shoot conversion, right? You have 2 high zone rules. You got your 1 high zone rules. You got your man free. And you got your 4 across blitz. And we're just going to we see 4 across blitz. We're going to 3-step slant these guys here. Across here. And then we let the quarterback kind of decide what he wants to do with the back in that case as well. We have a couple little things. I won't really get out there what we can do with the back if the quarterback chooses to do so. We might be able to rub this if we think if it's an interior box player and he's close, we might be able to get a rub on him and get him a free release out here, get him the ball real quick before it's out. Or if they're taking a deep defender and guarding the back out of the backfield with that, we might be able to go ahead and give him a free release and go ahead and throw that. That's a game plan decision and an in-game adjustment we might make along the way to what to do with him. Because sometimes, depending on the protection we make, he might stay in this case or not. But so those are our basic rules now that we have. So and then we can make tags based on it to give these guys different releases and change who has what read route. So let me erase all this here for you. So now we can go ahead and make a call where now these two switch, and now he's got the seam read and he's got the streak read here. See, and he'll have all the breaks on it, right? Yeah. We have calls where then we have calls that we can make where 1 and 2 switch. Now he'll have the middle read, he'll have the seam read right here, and we'll do that. We could do it off of motion. We can motion guys all over the place, counter motions, straight fast motions, and go. We have a lot of different ways we can disguise how we do this and kind of window dress it up. We also take the back. We can move him around anywhere we want. Okay, we put him as the number 3 receiver. We have different formation calls where we can move him around, put him outside of 1, put him outside of 2, put him outside of 3, and move him around that way, and try to out leverage our check down outside of the flat defender. So again, just messing with defense's rules doesn't change one single thing for us. Not one thing, but it'll change the world for the defense.
I can see how this could look really, really I mean, if I'm breaking this down, I'm thinking they got 27 pass concepts.
And most do. and we don't. This is one concept. And then, like I said, just have the tag on it. And then we have our boundary concept where we got the old choice route now, where now all we're doing is now the quarterback is going to drop to the single side, and now we're running the old choice route in the run and shoot. Right? Where we got the speed cut out, skinny post, go, or the 3-step slant versus the blitz, if we got that. And now we just change our back. And now our back, usually he's lined up somewhere in here. But we have different things. We could put guy on the shallow cross. We still have, and the other routes stay the same. We still got 3 guys running the cross read, seam read, streak read. But now the check down guy, instead of going to the strong side flat, he's going to come run the under through the box. So now the quarterback's eyes, but again, if he pre-snaps the choice route, doesn't like it, I sequence stays the same. He doesn't change anything for him. This is the only one that he kind of has to know a little bit, but not a ton. If he just forgot and went to the field, we'd still be okay. But if not, we want him dropping to the weak side and running the old choice route out here. If this corner plays off, we're going to go ahead and run the speed cut out. If the corner jumps outside, we set him out, run that skinny post. If he presses at any time or goes cover 2, we're going to go ahead and run the fade on him. If they come 4 cross blitz, we're going to go ahead and slant him. And that's it. I mean, those are our two installs that we might do all during spring. And it's really all we need. We can get through passing tournaments, everything like that. Just running these 2 concepts and with the tags.
I love it, Coach. Your field and boundary stuff. Do you do any of is some of this stuff out of 2x2? I know you said you could dress it up a lot of different ways formationally with the back, but is there a 2x2 way you could do this, or is there anything you go about that way?
Yeah, I could do it. So our other one it's the old switch route, boundary switch, right? That will stand. That is an OG run and shoot concept that will stand the test of time. And that is Mouse Davis's boundary switch. And this is one I was telling John the other day. If he puts it with that wide corner, he don't need another play. His offensive practice could last 25 minutes. He can go home.
Well, I like that plan.
Yeah. his passing stuff will be done quick. All right. So we can do it with motion. We can align the guy, we motion him, and then the boundary switch is now he's running the seam read from the weak side. Same rules as the seam read, doesn't change. He is now, but he's going to read the safety to his side, right? Same
Okay.
one high, two high rules apply. They don't change. And now this guy's got the streak read. Doesn't change, just goes to the boundary. But now quarterback's going to drop to the field. Okay. Big, use those eyes, move as many defenders this way as we can. Pull defenders with your eyes and then come back. Simple read over the about 1 to 2. Easy. Boom. But it got to be an actor with his eyes. Got to open up, show that shoulder, show the eyes. These defenders have got to react to what they see. Okay. So they see, because a lot of guys, I know you defensive guys don't teach read quarterback's eyes because you can't see them. So you're looking at different things in their body. You're looking at their face mask. You're looking at their shoulder. So if we want to show those things to you. All right. We want to show you our mask. We want to show you our shoulder and get you moving that way and create space with our eyes and just go 1 to 2 right here. Real simple. And then you could put any concept on that front side you want. And usually what I used to do a lot of 2x2. I don't anymore. We used to tag all when I first got into the run and shoot. And we'd have several concepts to the front side, but our weak side was always this. This was the only concept we had. So you can do, that's why I told John, you could go ahead and do Y corner to the front side and you could have switch over here on the back side. You could put anything you want over here that you want. So if coaches, you can get as creative as you want with it. And then again, we drill this all the time. We have a boundary switch drill that we'll do. We do it all the time, and guys just get really, really good. But once they get the basic structure, we drill all these routes in, these read routes. In fact, when I just spoke at the run and shoot clinic there in Palm Springs with June Jones and Hal Mummy and Neil Mazzoni and AJ Smith and all those guys. It was great. And that was what they asked me to speak on. So, how we drill this. So like we have our seam read drill that we do every day. Put 2 quarterbacks on a hash, and we're going to throw to the opposite hash. So put this quarterback here. This quarterback throws to that hash. This quarterback throws to the opposite hash. And we go through here and we have coaches, we have guys out there, students, assistants, whoever you have. And we work seam read all day. He goes out, we work post. This quarterback will throw that. He's over here, and this guy will show quarters or whatever. He sits it down, and we go through. He works to the other line. Guy goes to the other one. Quarterback, they take 2 or 3 on each, and then they switch to the other side. You get a lot through these drills. We do the same thing for our cross read and our outside drills as we go. We drill the heck out of these things every day. And once we get the basics of these read routes in, and what our quarterbacks, they got to be masters with their feet, masters with their eyes first before we put any concepts in. But once we do, then we're off and running.
Coach, that's absolutely fascinating stuff. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time and coaching us up on some of that stuff. That was really, really, really enjoyable, and I learned a ton. And I know you're going to keep having high-powered offense everywhere you go. So thank you so much for joining us. And folks, make sure you're sharing this. Like I said, our main goal of this show is to grow coaching knowledge, and we certainly were able to learn a ton today. So thanks a lot, Coach, for joining us, and we will see you all again next time for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show. But thank you so much, and have a good day, everybody.